Hello, and welcome to the Spiritual Sanctum of Light. This presentation is outside of our regular Sunday classes. While I was posting other material for our YouTube channel, I noticed that someone had viewed an earlier presentation of one of J.J. Hurtak's verses from his Book of Knowledge, Keys of Enoch, and they left a request. More, please. So we will continue with where we left off. So we won't revisit any of that stuff. And this is all has to do with Key 107. And he writes that Metatron gave this light consciousness to those who are working with the throne. They then become the active recipients who promulgate the law of the living light. Thus it is written that the law shall go forth out of Zion from the spiritual Israel upon this earth. However, the spiritual Israel is the coordination of all the races of man, so that all mankind can be brought to salvation from the kingdoms of flesh into the kingdoms of light. Now, in today's vernacular, the kingdoms of light may be assumed to be what is commonly referred to as the spiritual realm. And that the throne is heaven, because when we consider the word heaven in its early Aramaic and Rabbinic Hebrew, we discover that heaven refers to the throne of God, or the dwelling place of God. So in Genesis, in the beginning, when God created the heaven, God was creating his dwelling place, or his throne. So let us move into this. So we have already established that Metatron is a process of transmitting divine information, and is more in line with bringing those who have prepared themselves, stepping out from the darkness of ignorance and into the light of wisdom. Now, typically, whenever spiritual writings or metaphysical or occult writings, and we may consider this an occult writing, when they write about the darkness, they are always referencing ignorance. And when they talk about the light, it is always the intellect. And think of it like this: those who do ignorant things do so because they don't know any better. They are in the dark, so to speak. And those who choose to move from the dark and into the light, they take the time to avail themselves of information that takes away that cloud. They become illuminated from the information that they take in. That is what darkness and light, ignorance and wisdom imply. And these people have discovered the kingdom of God within, the realm of the divine within themselves. The throne is another indication of heaven, as I said earlier. Because they have discovered the throne, they become active participants in the dissemination of divine knowledge. Active participants. They are teaching, they are sharing their knowledge, their illumination, in much the same way that I am sharing this with you through this video and through the teaching classes that we hold at the Spiritual Sanctum of Light, and even the writings that I post on our website. All of this is active participation in the dissemination of divine knowledge. And divine is going to suggest knowledge that moves you into harmony with nature or harmony with the divine. In any case, a harmony that moves you forward without oppressing any. Not only do they share what has been imparted, but they become living representations of the law of the divine. For to love God is to become immersed in the divine light and be immersed in the living divine wisdom, and to love those around them through the sharing of divine wisdom, which is the living light. That is the living light. Aligning ourselves with the natural rhythms of life. That is the living light. When we hear the terms a living fountain or the living waters, this is what is being referred to. And what is implied by becoming a living representation of the law of the divine is their thinking shifts. Their thinking shifts from one of self-serving, of how they can take advantage of others, of how they can better themselves over others, to shifting from that to assisting others, to nourishing, to providing, because they know that as they assist others, as those around them move closer to this living light, they too benefit. It's not necessarily a win-win situation, because a win-win situation means that everybody benefits, but it is a situation that is mutually interdependent. I know it sounds like it's just semantics, but the meanings, the intentions behind these activities, they're important. And the law shall go forth out of Zion, meaning that the love of God shall emanate forth, bathing those who are prepared and nourishing those who are preparing themselves. As you move deeper into this exploration, down this path, and your thinking, your perception begins to shift. You are coming into alignment with this information, and it seems to flow. One of the things that we do here at the Spiritual Sanctum of Light is that we have spirit channeling or spirit teachings where they speak through the medium, teaching. And some of these topics are very esoteric, very abstract. Some of them not so much. But they become vessels or channels for this living light to emanate through. Zion is the presence of the divine, and for us to experience such a presence, we must be willing to immerse ourselves within its light. You have to prepare yourself, and as you do this preparation, this desire, this need, this natural function, allows information to move through you, to transmit, whether you do so through writing or speaking or teaching. And all that is spiritual is considered to be a light within. The soul is within. The soul is the seat of God. The soul is heaven. And the spiritual Israel, often associated with being the kingdom of God, resides within you. You must do the work to discover it. And when you have discovered the spiritual Israel, you become the spiritual Israel upon this earth. And with each personal discovery, all of humankind may come together, because such discoveries cannot be separated out because of institutional religion, or meaning that the different religious sects cannot separate one from the other. They cannot truly manipulate the verses to satisfy their needs, because as you prepare yourself, you become wise, and the wise are able to discern the truth, no matter how it is distorted. And such discoveries reveal the folly of their beliefs. Those who think they can manipulate these sacred writings, these divine writings, these occult writings, the only ones who are fooled are those who are unprepared. And when such people come together in thought, they shall provide the needed nourishment to bring forth others into the light of salvation, forever reshaping the kingdoms of flesh. The kingdoms of flesh are those institutions that are here in this particular realm. Now, the thing about spiritual writings and occult writings, wisdom writings, metaphysical writings, is that as you interpret them, interpretations may vary from one to the other. For instance, Metatron may be considered an archangel, but all an archangel is a representation, and angels are messengers. Therefore, the concept of Metatron being an archangel falls in line with Metatron giving this light consciousness to those who are working with the throne. It fulfills that sense, that interpretation. It fulfills it. And if you find this useful, please take a moment, subscribe, visit our website. I know it's under a different name, but we were formerly the First Spiritual Church of Prayer. We have transitioned into the spiritual sanctum of light. You can enter our sanctum by visiting our website. Look for the door. The door is your entryway. Your room is listed there. Your key is provided for you there. And we meet each Sunday morning at 10 o'clock Eastern Time. We are located in Michigan. And we look forward to you joining us. And if you find this useful, if this is part of your preparation, feel free to leave us a gift. You may do so again through our website, which is firstchurchofprayer.com. And we thank you very much. We thank you for joining us, and we thank you for your gift.
Welcome to the spiritual sanctum of light, a sanctuary for the soul. This is a sacred space where spiritual teachings are not imposed, but rediscovered, reflected upon with clarity, reverence, and personal truth. Here, non-denominational means freedom from spiritual bias. It means honoring the divine without imposition. It means welcoming all who seek the divine through many paths toward deeper truth, into sacred connection, and inviting them to share in the experience. Our teachings draw from mystical wisdom writings that awaken poetic insight and archetypical depth. They invite you to explore, not conform, to immerse, not escape, to remember, not merely believe. Spiritual Sanctum of Light is not a doctrine. It is a living invitation, a place to breathe, reflect, and reconnect with the divine on your own terms in sacred company. Whether near or far, you are welcome here. Join us remotely through Zoom, where sacred space meets shared presence. Visit firstchurchofprayer.com for access and upcoming gatherings.